Let's get into another thing here. We got Becky Lynch versus Bayley in Damage Control. That happened on Raw 30th anniversary. This is basically my segment because I feel like Bayley, especially during her Damage Control run, returning at SummerSlam, all this stuff like that. Becky Lynch gets hurt, whatever the case may be. But I feel like they have I feel like Raw 30, when they beat up Becky Lynch, that was their first moment of having real impact, right? So Bayley has come in. She has lost every big match to Bianca Belair. And of course, at that time, you're not going to take the title off Bianca Belair. I understand that. But the way they have booked them has been weak. Like, yeah, Dakota Kai and Io Shirai have the tag team titles, but it's like they're in the women's tag team division is in a state of flux. They're not really doing anything. And it's like they should be beating up people, causing havoc, and especially in the women's division where you kind of need that to happen. And I feel like they haven't done that. I'm like, Io Shirai was a badass in NXT, even when she was a heel.
Easy.
Dakota Kai, we saw what she did against Tegan Nox and fucking jacked her knee up. Was a badass in NXT. It's like, yo, let these women be badasses. And now I feel like that was their first moment, especially on Raw 30, even though, of course, I think the match was cut due to time and whatever the case may be. But the impact that they had beating up Becky Lynch, standing tall, actually having something happening, I thought was important for them. Whatever it may be, whatever direction they're going. I liked it.
Yeah, well, I think a part of the reason why Damage Control is just now catching on is that, remember, they came up right when Triple H's creative power started. So at that same time, he brings in Damage Control. Oh, now he's bringing up Candice LeRae. Now he's bringing back Tegan Nox. So you got Emma coming back. So you're bringing back all these women. You're bringing up some of these women, and in the process, you're trying to build everybody, and then you got the Monday Night Raw audience. Then some of them don't watch NXT, so they don't know about Dakota Kai and Io Shirai. So I definitely think that plays a role into it. Since Bayley's been back, yeah, she's right, as you stated, that she hasn't won any big matches. But like you said, you're not going to take the title off of Bianca Belair. I've always loved the heel character of Bayley. Definitely an upgrade from the smile, the hugger gimmick.
I was a fan of the hugger. I saw it all in NXT, so it was huge. And Vertigo heel was perfect. But go ahead, Brian. You were saying.
Yeah, she'll never go back. I mean, so she can never go back. If they ever try to make her face again, I'm like, nope, you can't go back now. But but I just think the fact that there have been so many other women coming up, and like I said, that audience really hasn't connected to them until last night, because we didn't get the cage match as advertised.
That's why I was like, oh, they couldn't just have the match and then they just jumped her, like they just ran up the cage and jumped her. Nothing, no. Yeah, no. I mean, it's fine. I liked how it turned out, but it's just like I felt like that would have been a better thing, like to actually be in the match and then have her cheat, win, get over. That would have been better. But at least they looked like they did something. They actually caused some type of damage. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I don't know. I've been a big Bayley fan. Her heel turn, I feel like when she was doing her like segments with the ding dong stuff, I feel like was way better.
Yeah.
Now, when I hear her talk with Damage Control, it's just like, I don't know, it's not clicking for me. Like, it's like, if they were making like you said, if they were making a bigger impact and people were like, oh shit, like, yeah, they're fucking shit up, which I feel like they were definitely doing when they first came out, but it wasn't, they were beating up Candice LeRae, they were beating up Bianca. And you know what? I actually thought Bayley was going to win the title. I forget what pay-per-view it was. It was the one where they had the ladder match.
What was that?
Pay-per-view was that? I don't know if you guys remember. It was like a few months ago.
I remember the match, but I just can't pick.
I don't know if it was TLC or Extreme. It might have been Extreme Rules, I think, honestly.
I think it was Extreme Rules. How to be Extreme Rules. Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you have these girls with you that could easily help you win the title. And, I feel like that would have been the time to. And honestly, like Bianca right now, I'm sorry, Bianca has been very stale to me just because she doesn't have these big opponents right now. She's had nobody. Like fucking Sonya Deville, like Charlotte's been gone. I know that's been done. you had to stick with Becky, but it's like, you know, I feel like her last big thing was when she had it with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
This whole year has been bland.
Yep, and they're trying to find that. Of course, I think they were waiting for Charlotte to come back, and that was one of my always questions with Bianca Belair and Charlotte. It's like, why are they keeping these two women away from each other? They were in the ring. They were in the ring on Raw, but it's clearly that they're going in a different direction. Like, these two women have the title. They're not going to unify it. So it's like, are we ever going to see this at some point? Like, that's a big time matchup that we definitely need.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but if they ever do unify them, that has to be the
match. Yeah, that has to be the match.
If they ever go in that direction, that's the match. But and talking about Becky Lynch and Bayley, I mean, when you think about those two, and then along with Charlotte, Sasha Banks, you got WWE's 4 horsewomen. So any combination of a feud with those 4 is supposed to be great, because those were your top 4 females, minus Sasha Banks now. Mm-hmm. I don't get that feeling.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes. Yeah. I don't get that feeling. So far. Yeah. Like, it doesn't feel as big as it should, especially with the women that are involved. Now, I don't know if that's because of the story that they're telling, because I remember they had a promo duel and they started talking about each other's past, or like, you only got famous because you got punched in the face by Nia Jax and all this stuff. And so you would think with these two that the feud would definitely be a lot more prominent, and it's not, especially after, like I said, we didn't get the cage match as advertised. So if they're smart, that match should be happening next week, because they have to make it up.
my whole thing about it is like, where are they going with this? Because this kind of feels like a rush job, right? Like, Becky Lynch coming back from injury. They're trying to figure it out. Of course, this is going to be a storyline going into the Rumble. Like, the Rumble is Saturday, right? So it's like, which direction are they going to go? It's kind of like, hey, we need something on the mid card here to work for the women. You two are our best workers right now, undercard. Let's put you guys together and figure something out. And it's like, I don't know what direction they're going to go, but it's like, Bayley has to win this, right? But in terms of like, you can't book Becky Lynch weak right now, right? Like, this is not the time when you do that, right? It's like, it's right before the Rumble, it's right before WrestleMania. It's like, you can't do that to Becky Lynch right now. But Bayley definitely, as I've been saying, needs a win. She needs a credible win, and especially as this group leader, all this stuff here, it's like, you're heading into in the Rumble, like, Damage Control should be dominant. Like, there's 3 of them. They should be trying to help Bayley win the title, right? Win the Rumble, right? Like, even if she like she should have a good showing in the Rumble, in my opinion. Like, even if she loses, like, she should have a good showing. But it's like, I don't know which way they're going with these two right now. So
if they do it right, like you said, I think they could easily put Bayley, which I know that people are gonna be like, oh, really? Again, her versus Bianca. But what could even be better is if you like put somebody else in there as well. Okay, WrestleMania could be Bianca, Becky Lynch, Bayley, triple threat. That'll be a huge match, because it's like right now just Bianca versus Alexa, Bianca versus Bayley, Bianca. Like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like Bianca's like this big, tough, like, she's athletic, she's jacked, she's fast, she's everything. She has all these attributes. Her talking isn't the best, and I feel like she needs somebody to like. Somebody needs to like be on that level. Like, hey, you gotta come at me, and I don't know. I don't see anybody like coming at her right now. So it's like, I feel like this Alexa Bliss thing is gonna blow through. So it's like, what is the plan for a WrestleMania? Who is coming into the space? If it's just Bayley, people are gonna be bored with it. But unless she gets some big push or pop, and it's like, you gotta throw some other fire in there if you really want people to be
interested.
Interested. And same thing with Charlotte too right now. Like, who's facing Charlotte? Who's on SmackDown right now? Yo, tell me who else is on SmackDown right now? Like,
my whole thing about speaking with Charlotte, right? Like, her coming back is obviously big, right? Obviously, they needed her to come back. Her beating Ronda Rousey the way she did, okay, whatever. I wasn't a fan of it, because I'm like, they should have a match. They should get that out the way. They didn't. So it's like, when are you going to have that match on this road to WrestleMania? Shayna Baszler, who I think should be in a
what the hell is she?
Bro. Another from NXT.
Exactly, bro. She was the longest reigning NXT champ, and nothing.
Like,
nothing. And then
silver platter. Like, it's right here. Like, Don't change it, nothing. She's the same, nothing.
They're bringing.
And I don't know where Asuka's at right now. It's like, bro, easily could be. I know.
I love Asuka.
Yo, Lewis,
I love.
Me and Daniel have gone on it over Facebook. His Asuka rants. Oh.
I know. I've seen them. I've glanced at them. They're too long to read.
I've said time and time again. Why hasn't she gotten her get back against Charlotte? Why?
Yeah.
That's my biggest. As long as she got that back, I would have been fine. But the fact that
maybe she can. That teasing she was teasing some type of character change. Maybe she comes back and wins it. We haven't seen her in a while, so
yeah. So I mean, she's definitely showing up at the Rumble. She's definitely showing up.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I don't think she's gonna win. Like, I don't know who's gonna win.
But I honestly can't. I can't even tell you who's probably gonna win the women's Rumble right now. Like,
as long as Ronda Rousey already won, so it can't be her.
Yo, get Ronda the fuck.
Yeah.
Get Ronda the fuck out of here. She's not the female. She's not the female bra.
It's like, yeah, they tried to make it like she's not special anymore. Like 3 years ago when she had that tag team match at WrestleMania, she was special. Now, fast forward years later, she's just another superstar.
Yeah.
Like,
I give her the props when she did she came in like ready, like fresh, like the shit she had when Becky won, like that match was great. Like she was putting in work. But this run around, and I've seen people talking about like if she needs a mouthpiece, she's terrible on the mic. She's terrible. She sounds so cringy every time she talks. I'm like, bro.
What she needs is Paul Heyman, but
a female Paul anybody.
Yeah. Paul Heyman's in that role with the bloodline. You can't. She's not a part. She's not family. You know what I mean?
Thank God she's not.
So you can't do that. So it's like she definitely needs a woman's mouthpiece. It's just like, who is that woman mouthpiece to be for her? Shayna Baszler isn't a mouthpiece. Shayna Baszler is a badass similar to Ronda Rousey. But it's like, where is that? I don't know who they get that from or how they fix that. And I don't know how they fix that for her. Like,
it's crazy. Sonya Deville's another former MMA fighter, and I'm sorry, she's another one who's just like trash to me too, because they make her lose so much. I feel like she's never had a solid win.
They buried the wrong people. Like, I think again in her role, she should be the mouthpiece, right? Like, if she was the mouthpiece for them, they're all MMA fighters. Makes sense, right? She's conniving. She's showing her manipulative side. She should be the mouthpiece, right? Like, that's the way. Instead of having her lose all the time, she's actually a person that can get in the ring, take a bump. You know what I mean? So, like, she has experience in the ring. So if she was a man, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, Sister Sherry back in the day taking bumps, Trish Stratus taking bumps. Like, that's the role of a manager, to be in that type of field of cheating, helping your guy win, helping your lady win, whatever the case may be. It's like, and they haven't really utilized that. And that's the role she should have. Like, instead of having her just go having these big time matches and losing all the time.
It's funny. I don't think they ever had a female manager for a female fighter.
Seems like
or a manager even for a female, or even like a male manager for a female. Have they had that?
I think they did it on NXT a little bit. Chelsea Green, I think, was in there.
Yeah, with Robert Stone as manager.
I didn't really watch that, but I know who they are, and I know about NXT.
The only person that comes off the top of my head is like China way back in the day with the cat. That's it. Like where they were kind of like she was the manager to China, and China was like they were together. That's the only time I can really think about that. But that's something that can be dynamic and different. And it's like,
it could literally be like the first.
Yeah, like my whole thing is like the way they use Sonya Deville for these championship matches, these prominent main event matches, roles and stuff like that. It's like she never wins. So we got. I feel like that's a way they can use her, especially for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. They can, like, if you need somebody who's a mouthpiece, she can talk and be conniving and be an asshole and stuff like that, and they can just be the badasses beating everybody up. But I don't know what direction they're going to go with that. Like, I really don't know.